Shalom and welcome to 2 Minutes of Torah. This year is entitled Jewish Philosophy, Shir number 9. Continuing to analyze Rav Sadigan's chapter on God. And he writes, that we must assume that any psukim that project physical or emotional attributes onto God must not be taken literally. It's figurative, and it is meant to be understood in a way that we can relate to and understand. And Hashem Ish Milchama, he's battling for the Jewish people, but not he's physically a warrior. Okay, so the question is that this has become part of Tefillah. In the Musaguf Ein Laguf, it's Animamins from the Rambam. And what happens if a person believes it? He reads the psukim, he sees midrashim, God puts on tefillin, he takes it literally. Hashem has a nose, Hashem is angry, he takes it literally. So what do we do in such a case? So the Rambam writes he's a man. Unfortunately, he has no Olam Haba, he has distorted idea about God. The Raavad says in Parak Gimel and Tshuva, how could you say that? People even greater than the Rambam maintain that God is physical, and you're going to call a person a min. The case of Mishnah steps in. He writes, not easy to say that this person who believes God's physical is greater than the Rambam. And he quotes Alba and other sources that say, yes, the person is not a min, but don't use the term greater than the Rambam if he has such a distorted idea. Problem is, they all agree that it's wrong to believe that God's physical. He is not physical. We all maintain that the Torah is written in a way for us to understand, but it's not necessarily literal in these specific areas. The machlokes is normally is the concept of shogeg. A person did something he didn't understand. He didn't know any better. And if people would explain to him what happened, what he did, oh, I didn't know, I didn't realize. So on Shabbos he did something wrong. Oh, I didn't realize. No, he's supposed to use hot water. That's supposed to use a sponge. Oh, thank you for telling me. He has to fill in the shavash is not in the right area. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know. Thank you for telling me. This is all called shogeg. Like I say, by Lota says this shogeg. By Shabbos, by Chayv Kari, says something called shogeg, hoping a korban, and he's not going to have a punishment like he violated intentionally. So Raavad ostensibly is correct. Same thing by anthropomorphic traits that are put onto God. When God seems to be appearing like physical in the Gemaras and the Midrashim and the Torah. So he's all shogeg. He thought he was supposed to understand that. If a God comes to him and says, oh, let me explain to you, it's not the case, he would back off in a moment. The Rambam says, I know it's shogeg. I know 99% of the area shogeg brings a person to a different level. Over here, when it comes to belief in God, having the proper belief in God, it's not a question of did he intentionally or unintentionally have the wrong idea about God. It's just a misgarret. It's a framework from which everything else results from. Just believing in God, in a being called God, that's the bottom floor where everything rests upon that. And if he doesn't believe in God, or has a distorted idea of God, he just doesn't have the connection to God, and he can't move on from there. While the Raavad says it's not true. Only when it is shogeg, he really truly has a deep belief in God in a physical manner, but he believes in the concept of God. And regarding the details, he has some distorted information, but he's not attached to that. He'll back off in a second. He just needs to be told that God is not that way. He's not physical. He's not emotional. He doesn't have a hand, doesn't have a face, etc. So therefore, shogeg could apply here as well. Bottom line is we're talking about Achloket, Rambam-Raavad, Kesef Mishnah, Albo, on a very, very central point. And obviously, a person must believe that God is not physical. That's what he must teach his family, his children, students, etc. And that any reference is always be taken as Ein Laguf, that Dibra Torah, Lashon, B'nei Adam. Shalom.